Hello, YouTubers! Again, I am Dr. Catalina Noseja Mendoza of the Gnosis in Quintessentials. Today, I'll be discussing the very basic principles of management. As we all know, management is everything. You can see everything in every organization, in everywhere you go. So let me first define what is management according to different people. One is from Mary Parker Fulai, that management is the art of getting things done through people. And that is true. Because by definition of organization, it is composed of people working together, performing different tasks for a common purpose. That exactly what Mary Parker Fulai stressed on the people. Because everything started with people. Everything started with organization. From the planning, organizing, leading, and controlling of an organization. That is why it has something to do with the process of getting things done through people. Another definition is by B.N. Nauha. It is the process of making the most effective use of available resources, which include organizing, using, and controlling human activities and other resources towards specific ends. Take note of the word specific end. It has something to do with the goal or the vision of organization, where the organization become. So take note of the different definitions of management. So another is by W. Pride, R. Hodges, and J. Kapoor. It is the process of coordinating the resources of an organization so as to achieve the primary goals of the organization. Again, the primary goals of the organization. It means where the organization goes. Another definition is the process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling of a business, financial, physical, human, and information resources in order to achieve its goals. Again, goals are there. It has something to do with the process. It has something to do with the system. It has something to do with the order. So take note of those words because later I'll be defining what a management is all about based on the experiences of those people in the organization dealing and doing businesses. It is based on my experience as well as a management practitioner and professor of management in different university, more specifically in the areas where I all sometimes be with. It is because of the invitation coming from the different organizations to be able to attend to my training and development, more specific on strategic management. So therefore, management is a process. It deals with the different steps. It deals with the different materials involved. It deals with the resources of the organization. So this is my definition. And you can you can find my definition in the operations management book that I have written, and also course in most of my researches. So management it is not really existing. It is merely an abstraction. Take note of the words. It is not really existing. It is merely an abstraction. Why do I need to define in that way what a management is? It is because all organization, whether you like it or not, you will not stay forever. because there is no such thing as forever. The only person who exists is the person who is assigned to manage the organization, manage the entire organizational resources. And take note, every organization has its own uniqueness, somewhat like people. There are no two people are alike. Yes, there are some commonalities, but most of the time, differences. The way people think, the way people behave, the way people achieve things. So, for me, management is derived from the three words men, age, and meant from the word mental. Mental has something to do with the KSA, the knowledge, skills, and attitude of a person. It has something to do with the theories, something to do with the principles, and something to do with the concepts, and even the ideas. Because every now and then, we shift to something new. Because organization should maintain, or should I say, innovate, for the purposes of achieving something. So therefore, before you manage an organization, you have to be more equipped with the knowledge, with the skills, and with the attitude that can be derived from the principles, that can be derived from the theories, that can be derived from the concept, your own concept. How can you innovate something if you do not have the concept? How can you change the way people do in the organization if you do not have the ideas? The second word is age. Age has nothing to do with the number of years we exist. Definitely not. It has something to do with the three most important E's to a person or to an organization. The first one is a person should have a lot of exposure. Exposure. Not to wonder something when you encounter things. Second, experience. Putting into action what you have seen, what you have observed, what you have analyzed. And that's why you will be gaining experience. And once that you are doing continuously what you are doing, which is upon evaluating if you have applied what you have observed is effective or not. If not, disregard the idea. So expertise is the third E. That is why you are considered manager, because you have a lot of experiences. As what I have said, a person has nothing to do with the age, but exposure, experience, and expertise. You can become a manager even if you are only 7 years old. But most of the time, managers who were exposed to a lot of things became an effective one. Effective in the sense that you are incorporating those experiences that you have, those exposures, those things that you have seen in other organization. Because most of the time, managers are doing the stakeholding, benchmarking. If something is good for the organization, why not adopting it? Third, men. Men is what management all about. It has something to do with the basic needs and the wants that he should be satisfied first. Because I believe You cannot give something if you do not have. You cannot share something if you do not have. In this case, as a manager, you have to have a lot of knowledge, skills, and the appropriate behavior or attitude. In that case, you can share with other people. Take note, as the saying goes, knowledge is the only thing that cannot be taken away from you. I would say not. That is why there is an existence of plagiarism as part of the existing laws. Why? Because there's a lot of people who are keeping on lifting, copying, but because of this existing law, people are basically what? Forced to think. The next one is, as what I've said, that the only thing or the only person who exists in the organization is the manager and its people. That manager should know or should have checks. Checks means competence. That a manager should be competent enough to be able to do things. He should be capable of doing things. Because if you are not that competent, people will not follow your orders. If you are not capable of doing things, how can you let your people do the assigned task? How will you check? How will you evaluate? It is very difficult. The second one is H. Stands for honesty and humor. That a person or a manager should always be honest, even though that there is no 100% honest on earth. Do you believe in that? All of us commit mistakes. All of us are hiding something, which is dishonesty, even to yourself. It is because you want to defend and you want to look something good to other people. Because whether you accept or not, we are living in the expectations of other people. We are satisfying what other people want to see from us. What is expected from us. And the other one is humor. To be able to break the monotony of the activities of the people, you have to be, or you have to have, you have to do some jokes to crack. To be able to feel that your people belong to your organization. Third, integrity, intelligence. That the person or a manager should be or should have intelligence. As part of the definition of management, knowledge. How can you have knowledge if you are not that intelligent? How can you be intelligent if you do not have the knowledge? Integrity means one word of honor. When you say no, it should be no. And when you say yes, you should mean it. Four, C, commitment. That a manager of an organization should always be committed to everything. Committed in a sense that what you have promised is what you should be done. Next, K stands for knowledge. By the way, knowledge has something to do with what? Three words again. No. L stands for lead, and edge, knowledge. It is a process of knowing to be able to establish an edge to lead the people. That's exactly what we meant by knowledge. Because some people define knowledge as information, as wisdom, as power, as everything. If you are that knowledgeable, you can lead the organization. And lastly, for the word chicks, skills and selflessness. Skills in the sense that you are supposed to be equipped with the technical know-how. You cannot lead people without the skills. How can you evaluate things? How can you evaluate the performance of your people if you do not know what to evaluate and how to evaluate? And that is skill. And for selflessness, because you are supposed to be considered one of the owners of the organization. Take note, all organizations members should own the company, because if not, you cannot trust them. And the chicks should know how to bear a child. Child means cooperative, humane, intelligent, loyal, and dedicated. Cooperative in the sense that you have to be dealing with people, and you should be dealing with people. And that is one among the nature of the management and organization. You cannot attain something if you are not cooperative. One organization, department of the organization, cannot stand alone, like the marketing, like operations department, like finance department. These three major functions in the organizations cannot stand alone. They need one another to be able to attain success for the organization. What is the essence of being with the organization, especially if you are in the different departments? How can you function if you alone in the organization? Can you perform all at the same time? No. Yes, some say that they became millionaire even if they are alone in the organization. I beg to disagree. It is because you need people. Yes, sometimes you became millionaire, but if you want to expand the operations of your organization, it is very difficult. You cannot attend to all areas in the organization, all at the same time. So that is why trust is the name of the game in the organization. If you cannot trust, you will never succeed. So, child means cooperative, humane, intelligent, loyal, and dedicated. Take note of the word loyal. There is no such thing as 100% loyal on earth. We've been disloyal, even to ourselves. Loyal in a sense that once that you committed yourself to the organization, you have to adhere to its policies. And that's mean loyalty. And the child should know how to sing. Sing means await. A manager should always be available, should always be willing, should always be interested, and with a tactful behavior. Available whenever the organizations need you. You are supposed to be there. Whatever happens to the organization, whether it encounters problem, you should always be there. Take note, availability is different from willingness. You are willing sometimes, but you are not available. How can you make things possible? You are interested, but you are not available. How is it possible? So therefore, the chick should know how to sing. Available or availability, that the person should always be available, willing, with interest, and tactful. Tactfulness is really important to a manager. Why? It is because it is not what to say, but how to say a word. How can you convince people if you don't know how to handle situation? And that is being tactful. Come to think of it. How will you say that a person is incompetent in a very nice way? It is very difficult. So that is being tactful. You just start with the most strength of a person before you deliver your main message. Being incompetent. You should say, "Oh, there is a very tremendous or big improvement in your performance, but there is always some room for you to improve." And that will be all. Next time, I will continue the lecture on management. So subscribe, Catalino and Mendoza. Thank you and see you tomorrow.